right. Thank you, everyone, for being here and showing up and listening thus far. My name is Joanne. I am a recovered codependent chaos creator and an Al Anon. Today I was thinking about, before I start, does someone actually want to time me? Put up the pug when 5 minutes is left or whatever you do? Yes, great. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm going to be talking about there is more. And like, think about it like this. Think about, have you ever seen infomercials? Like, okay, I grew up, I was born in the 80s. And so I watched real TV, not Netflix. And I think that still exists, but I don't have it anymore. But it's like an infomercial where they're like, all right, so we got this pack of knives. There's a pack of knives that are here for only 19.99. But then, wait, there's more. We're gonna throw in a Chihuahua. This Chihuahua is the best Chihuahua you'll ever have. But wait, there's more. And like the kitchen sink is included and all this stuff. And I'm like, I got a call. And I actually never called one of those. I don't know if anyone here has, but I never did because I was like 5. But it was like it made me think about recovery like that. But there's more. Like, why are we settling for the pack of knives for 19.99? There's more. You can get more. Life gets better. And so this is the thing when I was thinking and asking God in prayer and meditation, oh God, what I volunteered to do this again. I volunteered to share. What do you want me to share about? And I just really sense God saying, I'm doing a new thing. I'm doing new things. And so this is the good news that he shared with me that I want to share with you. And so it is that God will, this is what the big book says, and this is what I've seen around me, God will lift your mental obsession to drink, to use whatever substance it is that you use and that you're addicted to, and he will take that mental obsession away from you. And when that mental obsession is away, then you're not going to be doing those things. So now all of a sudden you got this bodily piece taken care of, although we are still going to be an addict of sorts. So God will take away that mental obsession, and that's incredible. Because I don't know about you, but when I came into recovery, that's why I came in. I was like, God, there's so much noise in my head. And like when I stopped for a little while, I realized how much noise was in my head, and I wanted it to stop because there was so much fear and irritability and restlessness, and I was so discontent. I was having issues with people around me, left, right, and center. I was blocking people and putting up walls. I was, yelling at my kids, at my family. There's just all of these things going on. I was blaming everybody. And it was exhausting, honestly. It was exhausting living like that, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And so the thing that I realized is that God will take away this mental obsession. And it's contingent, though, on our daily connection to God. And sometimes it's like contingent. Oh no, like, oh, that means I gotta meditate every day. That means I gotta, sometimes I grumble in my head. I don't know about you. But like, it's actually, once I start that connection with God, it's life. It's everything. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So it's not like, oh, dang, I gotta do these things so that I don't, get addicted to adrenaline or take another sip. But it really is good. And God is doing a new thing. And I want to bring up our friend. Probably everyone in this room is friends with John Ruby. If not, you should be. And it's been cool watching him. I'm going to pick on him, but it's been cool watching him after, I think maybe you were 13 years in recovery. And then you discovered this thing called Big Book Awakening. And it like shook your world, and you're like, I didn't know recovery could be like this. I didn't know that there was more. I didn't know there was more freedom. And God just does that. He uses all these different things around us. For me, my recovery, I would say, started in Life Lab, and I didn't know that there was more for me. I entered a 12-step program, and that might not be your story, but God is wanting to do new things. And so this contingency is that I have a spiritual malady, a spiritual sickness. Every single person is born with that. We all are disconnected from God. And he just invites us to be connected to him, and he invites us into life and invites us to um, to get rid of death in our life, and invites us to live. And so so it's been really cool watching John. I've seen John grow in more depth. I've seen him grow in more freedom. I've seen him become more joyful, more loving. He's become an incredible cheerleader. Um, and it's been really cool. So that's inspiring to me. And I was so the other thing I was thinking of like, there's more. So I have a baby who's becoming a toddler. It's like that awkward in between phase. And she just learned how to walk just before Christmas. And so she, thank you. Good job, Eden. Very good. I saw Deanna. So I was thinking about it. She is a very good crawler. Like the finesse that she has, she like moves her thighs and her butt and like her like arms, they're all in sync. It's beautiful. She's a beautiful crawler. She mastered that art. And I was thinking to myself, what if she like decided, you know, I don't need to walk. I'm good. I'm a good crawler. I am super, I'm mobile. I can get anywhere I need to go. I can chase my brother and sister, no problem. Like I can even get out the door. I can do lots of different things. I can even pull myself up. But like, and I can even climb. But what if she said, no walking for me, I'm good. She'd be missing out on skating. She'd be missing out on walking and then running. She'd miss out on perhaps swimming or skiing, skateboarding. There's so many amazing things that are to come after walking. But if she just settled with how good and it's good enough, like wow, she'd be missing out on so much. And we all know that. And it's so silly. But I asked myself after thinking about that of like, how many times in recovery I say, it's good enough. It's good. I'm sober. My life is pretty on track. Like I don't fight with my husband like I used to. And my relationships are, you know, they're pretty good. And life is okay. Like I'm not like I have enough money to pay my bills. I'm, you know, it's great. And I find myself often asking myself, am I resting on my laurels? And this is something that the big book talks about. So I'm going to jump there real quick just to read that. So in our big book, this big, beautiful blue book, on page 85, and I'm going to bring out this book again in a little bit, but we'll start here. So page 85, the first real paragraph says, it is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. We are headed for trouble if we do. For our obsession are not feeling good enough. Our obsession of alcohol, of drugs, of eating, whatever it is for you, these things, they are a subtle foe. We are not cured of it, of these things. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Every day is a day where we must, and this is important, I always circled the musts. Every day is a day where we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. And so, yeah, this resting on our laurels. And for me, I was thinking, okay, what does that look like? And I mean, I know what that looks like. It looks like, I don't got to meditate today. I've got too much to do. I don't have time. I'll just do it tomorrow. It's, oh man, I double booked myself. I'm not going to go to that meeting. It's fine. It's fine. I'll catch it next week. It's no problem. I'll be fine. It's, what else does it look like for me? Oh, lots of things. Just getting selfish and not wanting to serve other people, not wanting to take that phone call, not wanting to talk to that person or do that thing. I'm too tired. And it just becomes this progression. And it's like I was told early on in my recovery that like there's two options here. Like either you're recovering and in recovery, or you are digressing. You're in relapse mode. There's no in between. This resting place, it's not even really a resting place. We just, our rest is just this decline. It doesn't, it's, there's no in between. It's God is everything or God is nothing, period. And so this daily connection to God, I have found, has always pulled me back in. It has always God, when I really listen and I come to him in prayer meditation and ask him, like, where am I at? He's gentle and kind, and he shows me. And a thing that I found helpful too is that um, I just take stock and inventory of my circle and triangle. It's a thing that we talk about in 12 steps, and it just really asks me, am I being of real service to other people? Am I going to too many meetings? Am I going to too little meetings? There's such a thing. Am I working with others? Am I in prayer and meditation? Am I connected to God? All of these kinds of questions, we can talk more about them later, but just taking this inventory every single day, it's really, really important. It keeps us on track. It keeps us get for life to get better and better. And I just think like how easily we forget about our powerlessness. I don't know about you, but I forget. Like my brain wants to forget. It wants to pull me back into chaos. And so these rhythms really truly pull me back in, and it reminds me of the way that life used to be, these bedevilments that we read about. And so whether in our life of recovery, whether it's like Life Lab or it's a 12-step program, or it's just like being a Christian or person of faith, it really is not a one and done thing, this process. Like, and I'm not going to get into like theological things, but I grew up where it was often like, oh, it's as a Christian, you said this like this prayer, which felt like magic, and you just say like, Jesus, I accept you, I love you, like come into my life, give me eternity in heaven. And if I just put the period at the end of that and said, thanks God for my ticket to heaven, I'm gonna be on my way now. I got things to do and things to, make wonderful on earth here. And so see ya. And just like walk away. I don't really know if that really works. And most definitely I'm not really living the way that the Bible really talks about. And anyway, so like I said, I'm not going to get into that, but I don't believe that these recovery steps, this way of health, is a one and done situation. The other place in the big book I want to, oh, actually, no, stop for a second, Joanne. I was thinking about my journey. I was thinking about spiritual experiences that I had. And so for me, I was thinking and mapping it out of being like, all right, I grew up in the church, and that was a spiritual experience. I was introduced to God there. I was introduced to the Bible there. I had different spiritual experiences that happened like that. As a young person, I started going to youth group. I went to summer camp. I met God. God took me from where I was at as this 13-year-old girl and just showed himself to me. I got a taste of God. And then, fast forward, after high school, I actually decided I wanted to study the Bible more, and I wanted to study theology. So I went to Bible school and I learned more there. And I had spiritual experiences there that stuck with me, that have aided me to where I am. I began to work in churches myself. I went to Union City Church. If you don't know what that church is about, trust me, you got to check it out. It's amazing. That's a plug. And then UCC introduced me to Life Lab, introduced me to pace setting, introduced me to 12-step recovery, to the 10, 11, 12 steps. These spiritual experiences just built upon each other, and it showed me that God was already doing things. He was already making life better. He was already giving me hope and giving me these promises along the way. And I'm really glad I didn't just stop at any one of those places and said, good enough, I'm good. I know it wouldn't have gone well for me. And so God just has kept bringing me through. And I think the key here has always been willingness. Okay, God, I am willing. I want you, to take me to that next step. Bring me more freedom, bring me more wisdom, bring me more peace. And so these promises that I'm talking about, that I want more of, I was reading in page 100 in the big book, and I'm going to read that paragraph here too. So these promises, the first paragraph says, both you, so this is actually talking about working with others, whether it's, pace setting or sponsoring, step guiding, um, discipling. So page 100 says, both you and the new man, so that person, must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When we look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates um, of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. So this freedom that we find in recovery is incredible, and I can't help but want to pass it on. I feel like the more that um, God changes and heals and transforms me, the more I'm like, yeah, I got to tell people. I can't not, because it's bubbling up, and it's wonderful, and this new life. It's true. Like my sponsor said that when I was first going through the steps, she'd be like, Joanne, like life, it gets better, and God, he does these things. He does things for us that we can't do on our own, and it's incredible. Like, trust me, trust this process. So I'm like, okay, and I'm in the fourth step, and I'm like all cactusy and prickly, and people around me don't want to be around me because I'm like facing some ugly stuff. But like the freedom that continues to come really is incredible. Like I can say too, like my marriage has gotten better. The way that I'm able to pause, to not overcommit to things, to take care of myself. I'm starting to learn to have boundaries, not walls and not enmeshment, boundaries. I'm learning how to be assertive. And I think the thing I was talking about at the beginning, like my mind um, has peace like it didn't have before. Things around me can be crazy, but like I now have these tools, like this spiritual toolkit that I can stop, and I don't have to go crazy like the rest of the stuff around me if it's crazy. um God has this amazing ability to pull me in and be gentle and kind to me, and just stop it all, and then give me hope and say it's going to be okay. I'm here for you, don't worry, it's going to be okay. And yeah, so, and I think that working with others really has been an amazing spiritual experience for me too. Just even last week I was meeting with some a pacey, and I was like, we went through a fourth. It was incredible. I was reminded again, oh yeah, I'm powerless. Oh yeah, if I'm not careful, this resentment, it can really crop up again. Oh yeah, I too am sick. This person too is sick. And so, like, just how important it is to remind myself of where things could go and have been in the past, but also to remind myself that, like, to watch out for different things. And so working with others, man, God has shown me things within myself. It's shown me that probably I wouldn't have otherwise like learned or experienced or come to know. And then as a result, God does more healing. God sets me more free. God shows me that I can sit in that emotion now and not freak out and stuff it or whatever. God's like, no, sit there. It's okay. It's safe here with me. And so really truly, like, we need each other. That's one thing I've really learned. These spiritual experiences would not come about without others sharpening me, without others pointing things out to me, without even just seeing other people's experience and God's showing me things about myself as a result. And so I want to tell a story about pizza. Josh and I, my husband, he loves pizza. I like pizza too, but we order from this place. We pretty much get the same pizza every single time, same thing. The pizza guy even knows. He's like, "Hey, Joanne, how's it going?" It's like, "Oh, we ordered too much pizza," and so I don't want to eat pizza every single day. I don't want to eat it for every single meal. I don't want to eat it every single week. I'm good. I like it, but I don't like it all the time. Josh, however, I left for a week a couple years ago, I think, and everybody was like, "Oh, poor Josh. He can't take care of himself. I'm gonna bring him his favorite food for like a week straight for multiple meals a day. He ate pizza. He actually, at the end, he's like, Joanne, I ate so much pizza while you were gone. It was awesome. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, actually, I'm kind of sick of it. Like, I'm really sick of pizza. And I'm like, I never thought I would hear that from you. And so he got sick of pizza. And I just like I thought about that of just like for me, that was a picture of like God wants us to be healthy. God wants us to mix it up a little bit. God wants us to grow. He wants us to not stay on the same diet of stuff because that's not going to help us. It'll probably make us sick. And he wants us to grow. He wants to give us some fruits and vegetables. He wants to give us some yogurt, that kind of stuff. And so it's like this feast. I think like I used to work at a hotel that did weddings and banquets, and there was this one time I know I got to wrap up soon. There was this one time that it was a Chinese wedding. The Chinese really, really know how to do good weddings. They had like 10 or 12 courses of food. It was amazing. And like it was beautiful because every single time, like there was something else. And it just felt like it kept getting better and better. And the feast was beautiful. This celebration. And it's just like, I think about that. God just like wants to nourish us and strengthen us, but he also wants to show us it keeps getting better and better. Just when we think we've had our fill, he's like, hey, look what else I have for you. And that's day after day. And like with recovery, I think that for me, often I used to not be able to imagine like not doing certain things or not being around certain things or engaging a certain way. I didn't think it was possible. But like, and I thought like maybe recovery would be like boring or lame, or being a Christian would be boring or lame. You can't do all the fun stuff that I wanted to do. But like as I've come into this life, for me, it's been like it's not mundane and boring. It's actually an adventure. It's super fun. We're putting together a booch pit. Whoever thought that we'd be kombucha brewers? It's fantastic. It's really fun. It's also very scary sometimes, but it's very fun. Who knew that? Like all of these things. Like who knew I would love leading music for people and teaching piano and doing these things that maybe I didn't think I wanted to do because it doesn't pay enough or it doesn't whatever. And God's just shown me these things and just working with people. I gotta say, that's often my pinnacle of like when I get to work with someone, I might even go into the session like super tired, but wow, like I know I can bank on leaving and being like, oh, that was amazing. God showed up. God showed me this. God did something in that person's life, and that person had a revelation. And it's like, it's incredible. And it really is like, that's life. That to me is life. That is recovery. It is adventure. It is exciting. It is full of purpose. It's full of joy. And there's so much blessing. These promises we read about that life becomes remarkable. Life is wonderful. It's new and it's beautiful. And like, that's what my heart wants. When I think of life in general, I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be remarkable. I want it to be an adventure. And so to me, it gets better and it keeps getting better. And we keep showing up. And I keep just asking God to keep me soft, to keep me humble, to keep me just willing for whatever's next and not thinking that I have it all figured out because I don't. I really don't. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys today. I was really excited about it because it made me really encouraged and just being like, God has more for me. Hallelujah. All right. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening and aiding in my recovery today.